Hello, my name is Finley Chapman. I am a student in the Welcome Project, and I am interviewing Sophia Martinez. She is the current president of USGA and is in the class of 2022. This podcast is a part of the University of New Haven Welcome Project, a collection of stories about diversity, inclusion, and belonging.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I guess first off, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so like you said before, my name is Sophia Martinez. I am graduating this semester, which is really, really exciting. I kind of need to go, but I wouldn't change a moment of my time here. I came in the fall of 2018. It was a interesting experience because I decided to do the first year leadership experience program. For good reasons? Probably not. I did it so I could move onto campus earlier and beat my roommate to get the wall that I wanted. So I was like, I'm going to sign up for camping. I'm going to sign up for this leadership thing that we have to do. I show up early. We're moving into Bethel. Turns out my roommate did Charger Days. So she got to pick the side of the room before I did. And then I just signed up for a camping trip in the middle of the woods with leadership people. So that was my first official introduction with the university, besides for SOAR and all the admission stuff. Mm-hmm. And although I would not do it again, because I really do not like camping, it definitely set me on the path that I am in now. I never really saw myself as a student leadership type, at least in this setting. This is not who I was in high school. I've always been tendency to help other people, but I never thought this role or any type of role like this was for me. I decided then I was going to run for Senate for USGA, go up for class president, and I went, well, if I don't get either of them, it's my sign. I'm going to work. I'm going to watch Netflix. I'm going to go to class. I'm going to be a college student.
Yeah.
I got both of these things. So I went, okay, well, this is a sign from the university, from the Charlie. So I have to continue. So ever so slowly, it led me to the path that I am in now.
Why did you go to USGA? Were you a representative for a club?
Oh my God, that's a great question.
Go to that meeting?
I showed up to the first meeting, mostly because there were other Flex people with me, and we're like, oh, we're going to go. This will be fun for us. I went because at Flex, one of the USGA e-board members had spoken oh, this is what we do. I was like, okay, I'm interested to look at. And indirectly, there was a stipend associated with it. I came in to this university. I paid for everything. I did not take out a single loan that was not a federal loan. So when my tuition bill was up, I paid with all of it from waitressing. Okay. Every single dollar. I'm pretty sure the bank thought I had a different type of job. But I paid for everything, and I had no idea what I was going to do for a spring semester because it's not like I could work the same amount. This was literally all of high school savings put into one semester. So they said stipend. I was like, okay, out of all the leadership opportunities there are at the university when it comes to clubs and other stuff, this is the one that'll at least give me a little bit of payment.
Yeah.
Not that I was looking to make money, but my time was money, and not because I thought of myself as expensive, but I saw anything that I'm not getting money from was expensive for me.
And you wanted to get paid for the work you were doing.
Yeah, but it was hard. I worked a couple jobs on campus. I tried to work off campus. I did a bunch of things. I worked my butt off. But that was definitely one of the driving points where I definitely believe with the amount that we ask for student leaders to do, they need to be getting some type of compensation. If your club is turning into a part-time job, it should have some type of part-time pay or the resources to make it less stressful, which is still in the works.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something we have to strive for because there's barriers when it comes to how expensive this university is.
Yeah.
And then how much time and energy it takes to put into it to make it better. I walk into the room. It's called the Alumni Lounge. It's gigantic. People start coming in, and then there's more of them, and then there's more of them. And I was like, oh my goodness, what did I sign up for? I sat in the back and I remember being so confused because you had 8 people in business casual clothes. Yeah, we got rid of that. But they were wearing business casual, business professional suits, ties, dresses, blouses. Parker Johnson swinging a gavel. There's motions. People are seconding things. They're speaking weirdly. It was a different environment for me. But the thing that got me to stay was people would laugh in the middle of the motions, or there were jokes, and they were just friendly. And it felt like even though this is not a language I did speak, it was a language that all of them shared. So it definitely got me to stay. I was scared for a very long time to be in that room because it's full of 96 other college students that you have to speak in front of. And sometimes you say things that maybe not everyone agrees with, which is the nice thing about USGA, but also is the more terrifying thing. So it definitely was overwhelming the first couple of times of me being there. Especially with the USGA I walked into, but it's definitely been kind of like a second home for me, and I'm trying to make it feel like home for other people.
What was the first position you had?
So I was a senator. This is before we had populations, which was pretty cool. So you were asked to represent all students. This did not work. So they soon made other like populations that you can keep in mind. So my sophomore year, I became the senator for the LGBT students population. I am bi, so just to clarify, I've gotten people who are like, "You're a great ally to the community." And I'm like, "Is my community friend zoning me?"
Yes.
So just to clarify, but I took that on. I saw a lot of discrepancies, especially when it came to just the resources, like the normal resources we would give to anyone who's transgender, specifically with bathroom inclusion.
Yeah.
So I tackled that on. I also did a lot of stuff with our Title IX department. I was their liaison, so I'd work back and forth with Ashley Dunn, trying to educate the campus, trying to give the resources. College life is literally just a micro level of society. So if society has rape culture, colleges will have rape culture. There's no changing that. So just trying to help teach people. I think a lot of us come with good intentions, but intention doesn't always equate to impact. So it's a hard conversation to have repeatedly, but it's definitely worth it to have. So those were the avenues like I took in the beginning of USGA. Did I have any idea how to do it? No. But like I learned through Ashley, I learned through like the mentors that I have that were student leaders how to listen better and listen more. So when I speak, it's not out of turn. I'm not saying something that negates like the goal that I want to have. I said I could help people. So
what made you decide to go from this position to running for USGA president?
I had credits from high school. I took a couple of AP classes and the university accepted them. So I was kind of ahead and, well, I'm Hispanic. Like you tell me I'm paying for 17 credits. Guess what? I'm going to take 17 credits every semester. Like I'm not paying to take less. So I had enough credits to run. So technically I was qualified, but I kept that in the back of my head. I was an RA for Sheffield. I was part of a couple of RSOs. I was class president. I had other things on my mind and I knew I wanted to run at least for my senior year. It's the middle of a points committee for USGA. And actually one of my close friends / like mentor at the time took me aside. He was like, "Can we talk?" And he was like, "Have you thought about this?" And I was like, "Yeah, but not seriously. I'm a sophomore. Like, what type of experiences do I have behind me?" And he put in my head where, well, you can put yourself out there. And if you are what the people want, let them decide that for themselves. So I was like, okay, I have to come up with a campaign. I have to come up with a platform. And something that really resonated with me is USGA is not perfect. Some of it we can't change, like we just can't do it, but we can be better at teaching you. Other parts, yeah, we can change it, but we need the people to change it. If you hate something and you walk away from it, the only people that you're leaving in that organization are people who are okay with how it's operating. So I decided to make that my platform. I went, listen, USGA can be something great. If we make it great, we can't keep it the same.
What was like your big things that you helped implement? Like what was like, I guess, some of your passion projects, I guess.
Oh my
if that
goodness.
makes sense.
Well, I can tell you, my whole entire platform, out the window. Because Friday, I got the position, and Monday, we got sent home for COVID. A lot of the ideas that I had were pushed because there were different priorities. Instead of prioritizing an app that connect people with charger connections, so it's almost like Tinder and RSOs. It's going to be called Charlie's Connections. I still want it to happen. But instead of doing that, we had to respond to like Winchester quarantining. So some of it changed. A lot of what we did last year was not USGA's name only on it, which I think is important to note. Yeah. The recharge days came out of a USGA general meeting. We had Chapman visit and we had him come multiple times because I did not want him to make any single decision without thinking of the students that was going to impact.
Yeah.
And we talked about how everyone's mental health was deteriorating. And not just students, staff and faculty. And then everyone was treating each other terribly because all of us were tired.
Yeah.
So the recharge days came out of that. The VP that hopefully we're going to get for institutional integrity and justice will hopefully come out of a USGA meeting as well. The sidewalks that we have, we ran a couple of initiatives with the campus pantry. We gave them resources to feed people. We had a committee that helped get student workers who got COVID, not to any fault of their own. They weren't doing stuff they weren't supposed to be doing. Yeah. Able to get paid when they were out sick. So we did a bunch of stuff that was very like survival mode. It was survival mode last year. Whatever we can do to help, we were in that meeting. We were in that room. If it was planning this event, it was making sure Recharge Day had enough funding to like make it work. Obviously not everyone was happy, but we had to try. So we did stuff like that. We worked really closely with our new dean of students to work on the hiring processes when it comes to DEI efforts. We worked really closely with Title IX. A lot. My head's escaping me right now.
Yeah.
But last year was very focused into how can we help the staff and faculty of this campus do a better job. Because student government has how many people? But faculty and staff? A lot more. So if we can help them be better for students, that was where we were needed.
Yeah.
This year, we're just trying to fix our internal structure. Like I told you before, I didn't walk into a perfect USGA. I'm not walking out of a perfect USGA. There was a lot of stuff internally that just was not adding up. So we fixed our structure. We had a coordinator of inclusion and campus relations. Last year, me and that person in that position, Lily Manzo, created that position to be a VP, which was unheard of. Like 4 years ago, the campus is in uproar because USGA wanted to have a position for DEI. A VP? No. Coordinator. So we did some changes like that with our structure. We tried engaging more with the first years. We did a lot to make at least the policy side of USGA more accessible to people. Because now, like I told you, USGA was like a language. I didn't know the language. I know the language now. I know it too well. We need to still teach it to other people and make sure next year that they're okay. So it's been a lot of moving parts, but we made an impact somewhere. So I guess we're doing our job.
And I guess the big thing is, how do you feel being the president of USGA changed your life?
Oh,
or I guess
it changed everything.
I guess, like, do you think it made you a better person? It proved your life. Like, just tell me how you feel the position affected you.
You know, sometimes I feel like I haven't changed, and then I'll talk to someone and realize I've changed almost completely except for my core. There were even things in my core that needed to change. Before I started, I was very timid. I tried helping with people, but intent doesn't always mean impact.
Yeah.
And sometimes our own tendencies to recede or avoid conflict or to handle situations will impede the work that we do. So it's taught me about trusting your gut.
Mm-hmm.
It's taught me that if you're offended, it doesn't mean that you're right. To not take things personal. I don't think everybody in this world tries to mess up our day. I tell this to other people all the time. Like, no one's sitting behind their laptop and going, how do I mess up the student's day? Like, I guarantee you. And if there's that one person, there's always that one person in every organization. You wonder what they're doing there if they hate their job.
Yeah.
But for the most part, nobody's sitting behind a desk and trying to figure out how they're going to mess up your life.
Yeah.
So we need to stop taking it personal and figure out where is the actual issue. Because if I walked up to you and I went, Finn, I really hate that you're doing this, and I said it aggressively, chances are you might not be responsive and you might get a little defensive or shut down because you were human.
Yeah.
If I went, Finn, can I offer some constructive feedback? Like, I noticed this seemed a little bit off. I know you're not like this. Can you just elaborate a little bit more with me? And then maybe at that point you go, well, I didn't have enough resources or time or people to help me out here. Or, I didn't actually consider that narrative when I was doing this, but I appreciate it. So if you could be anything in the world, be kind. To not take things personal. And that happiness is very fleeting. And I say this in a pessimistic, realistic way.
Yeah.
But we can't be happy all the time. That can't happen. We hopefully are not sad all the time. But if we're going to achieve or aim for something, it's like the state of contentness. Granted, we might have days where things are just not going well. Your car breaks down, but it doesn't mean it ruins your whole entire life. Yeah. So I think I've really learned how to be content. There's a lot of problems on this campus, but if I spent every single night worrying about them, I would not have made it past the second night of being USGA president.
Yeah.
So problems will always be there, but that doesn't mean that you have to spend every single second for them. You're still a human being. And as long as you're trying your best and you did what you knew was best in that moment, that is all you can ask of yourself.
This was Finley Chapman interviewing Sophia Martinez. Thank you so much for letting me interview you and for discussing your role in USGA and how much it meant to you and kind of the efforts that you put through while you were at USGA. And this podcast is a part of the University of New Haven Welcome Project, a collection of stories about diversity, inclusion, and belonging. To listen to or watch more projects, visit newhavenwelcome.com.